And I didn't know this. This happened the first night that this guy tried to kill me. And the security guard, he had marks on his neck because the security guard saw this and essentially grabbed him and choked him. That's, there was marks on his neck, choked him for him to stop. He tried to run into my room with a pencil or something. And I said, okay, I'm not scared of this. I'm not, whatever. I said, okay. And he talks to me about what's been going on. He says that, like, I'm some type of entity or being from another realm. That he is my best friend, essentially. That somehow him and my best friend's connected. I don't understand how, but he is. And he just says I'm the devil and I'm super powerful. And he describes to me, we call this guy Jose. I think his name was Jose or something, Carlos. But Carlos describes to me something that happened. And he says this happened in another realm. So, when people say the astral realm or the dreamland or your imagination or, just the spirit. He says in another realm, he essentially had my power and was using it for himself. And that I gave it to him so he could have the power to look over me and be a watchful eye for me and take care of me. And then he said that he was sick of looking after me and he wanted to be by himself. He wanted to use the power for his ambitions and no longer care for me. And so essentially he stole my power and left me to rot. That's what he's telling me. And I say, okay, so what happened? He says that he was on a throne and he influenced a lot of the other gods to turn against me because I was absent for so long. And they were working for him. And now that I've returned, most of the gods aren't even sure if I'm, the true ruler of this domain or the true power, the true God or whatever it is. And he's sitting on his throne and those gods all around him like an army. And it's just me. And he describes me as an old man with a beard and muscular. And I don't speak that much. And as the fight commenced, he says negative entities like Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy Krueger, Krampus, like they're just like negative characteristics of individuals or characters came to assist me in this realm. And that and I responded like, compared to gods, those Michael Myers and Jason and stuff, they're weak. They're not going to be strong enough to face gods. He's like, yeah, I know. They got obliterated pretty quickly. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he says after those characters got obliterated, they didn't really do much. I essentially said, get off my throne. The power is not yours. And he responds with, no, I'm not going to give up anything. The power is mine now. And then essentially I teleport behind everybody, all the gods. I kill a god with one shot of God. I just rip his heart out in this astral world battlefield. I rip his heart out and I start one-shotting all these gods. And all these gods are trying to attack me and they easily get destroyed. I'm teleporting here, teleporting there, moving too quick for them to see. And everyone is surprised because gods, they don't get one shot. That doesn't happen. They've never seen a god just get one shot before. And he says gods die, but they don't get one shot. No one has the power to just one shot a god and then essentially kill them. That's terrifying. And so, it just goes back and forth with the battle. All these gods are trying to attack me. They're not even laying a scratch on me. And then he walks off the throne and walks down, and he concentrates all his negativity into one manifestation. So it's like a huge shadow. And before me, no one has ever been able to display as much potentness of power of negativity than him. So he was a true representation of the devil or a negative force. And then I do the very same thing, but my darkness overlaps and overconsumes his darkness. And it is the first time he said he ever felt fear in his life in this realm. And then after seeing that, all the gods bowed down. They all gave up. They all turned on him and said, well, what good on you? And I essentially threw him to the side and reclaimed my throne. And that's pretty much what he says happened. And he's describing it so detailed to me. I'm just looking at him. But he says, like, he knows my best friend's name. He knows that they have a son. He knows his wife. And he essentially says that he's their child from the future. And it's like, what? He said, yeah, I'm there because they do have a child. And they have the same hair, the same pale skin. And their child is autistic. And this guy kind of act a little bit autistic and hard to concentrate. So I said, that's really weird. But how could you be the kid from the future? Which he didn't really answer me. But I kind of assumed that I could not trust everything this guy was saying. Because if what he's saying is true, he's a person who doesn't have my best interest at heart. Usurper, or someone who was supposed to look out for me on another realm, and he didn't. So I said, okay, whatever. I don't really, I don't pay much attention. And the entire time while I'm in this facility, he just keeps calling me the devil and laughing. Okay? And so I move on from that. I don't really care about that. And I say, okay. And so this is when things started to get a little weird, okay? Because the doctor, he asked me to come see me. He wanted to introduce himself to me, and he wants to give me some type of physical. So he comes, and he's visibly scared. He's terrified. He's shaking. He spills water on his computer and apologizes to me and says, oh, I'm so sorry, Leon. I'm so sorry, Leon. And I say, what is going on? Why? But he, of course, I'm a patient. Who knows if he's alone with me. Who knows if I'm crazy enough to attack him? So I said, okay, maybe he's just nervous, right? Give him the physical, and I ask him, like, what's going on? Kind of leave, and he kind of like just give me a run around, like, oh, you're gonna stay here for a minute, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And so I leave there, now I'm talking to some patients. And I run into one patient. He's like a really cool dude. He's been there for a minute. We get together a long time. But he tells me that I said, man, the staff is acting really weird. And he looks at me. And he says, yeah. It's because of what happened when you first got here. I said, well, what happened? He described to me that I got up out the room and was walking around. And that the nurse went into my room and pointed at my bed and said, hey, you have to go back to sleep. And then she saw me still in bed. So I somehow duplicated myself to walk around, but also be in bed at the same time, 2 places at once. And he said after that, they were pretty much terrified of you or what was going on. And so now it makes a little bit more sense of why they were reading the Bible and kind of like acting timid around me. I said, oh, okay. I said, interesting. But I don't know if I can believe this because even if this did happen, I'm asleep. How do I know it happened? These are just secondhand accounts. I don't know. I said, okay, that's, a lot of these weird divine stuff is going on. I said, okay. And keep in mind, this is like the second, third day. And, I'm seeing a lot of people who are representations of other people I know. It's as if you know someone and then you know someone similar to that person and it's like that. It's like all these people were variations of people in my life that I know, and it's really weird because some of these people I feel like I recognize them from somewhere. But we're all getting along. It's nothing big. It's nothing big. We're all getting along, but I'm having trouble, and I'm really tired, okay? And so I go and lay on the bed. It's like the third, fourth day, and I'm really tired. I'm super tired. So I lay on the bed, and sunlight comes into the room, and I wake up literally in 5 minutes. And coincidentally, one of the staff comes into the room, and I explain to her, "Hey, I was really tired, but then as soon as the sun, revealed itself to me or hit me, I felt recharged. I felt like I had instantaneous energy, kind of like Superman." And I say, "Well, what's going on? Why is that the case?" And she looks at me and says, "We don't know why that's happening." And then she walks away. Super weird. Keep in mind, no one's talking to me about what's going on. No one's talking to me about my illness. No one's talking to me about my medical history. Nothing. Super weird. And then an announcement is made that there's going to be students coming in to talk to us. And let's continue.